Park Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar. Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. You're listening to the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or the Scott Nason YouTube channel. It is December the 5th, 2018, and we're here live at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, and we're here for its famous 75-cent wing nights. That's an action-packed atmosphere here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill. Reservations out of the yin-yang. And if you're not at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, then I have no idea where you are, because it is absolutely packed, and you should not be anywhere else on a Wednesday night, because this is the place to be, especially for your Sunday game day for football. That's Monday, Thursday, or Sundays. As I mentioned, you have a chance to win 4 tickets to the Miller Lite Tap Room in Detroit, Michigan at Ford Field. And they also have Hockey Night at SportsCenter for Toronto Maple Leafs tickets, a chance to win against the Islanders or when they play the Boston Bruins. The Islanders game is December the 29th. Bruins game is January the 12th. A lot of prizes given away here at SportsCenter. Make sure to also follow them on their Facebook page. Scott Nason will be our board operator tonight. I have Jamie Antonello, who is going to be joining me shortly here after the break, and he'll be joined with Coach Tom Annett of the Korah Colts, as we're going to have a nice long extended segment, talk about local football and get a recap of the Korah Colts season and their huge OFSAA win against the St. Pete's Knights and OFSAA in Ottawa. Very successful win and big win by the Korah Colts there. And then Jamie and I will continue our year-round in the pocket segment, talk about Week 13 and Week 14 in the National Football League, with recap and reaction of Week 13 and predictions for Week 14, and also some preview on what we think in such a big week in the National Football League, going into one of the final weeks. We only got about Week 14, 15, 16, 17 left, 4 total weeks to go, including this week, so it's coming down to the wire, especially for some particular football teams. And then we will wrap up the show in that same segment when we wrap up in the pocket with some Toronto Raptors discussion. That will probably be all that we are going to be able to get to tonight, because of the agenda that we have packed here with football, as always, here from the SportsCenter Bar and Grill edition of the Game Sports Show. If you're listening to the Game Sports Show through the website, or through our Facebook page at the Game Sports Show, or through our Instagram page at the Game Sports Show SSM, you must have gotten here to the website through that, or if you're on the Podbean page, you can veer over to and back to the website and look at the merchandise section. We have a chance to purchase $25 t-shirts, which all they go towards proceeds of Northern Critters Need and Big Brother Big Sister. Only $25 a shirt. They are unisex in size, and they come in all sizes. You can purchase the shirt through the website, or you can get information through Northern Superior Brewing Company, where it's our home to our Thursday show, or you can purchase it here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill. Just ask for Frank Ligori for an order form to be able to order a t-shirt for the Game Sports Show. And it's a very fashionable t-shirt. You can wear it to the gym, you can wear it out, you can wear it on a date, even if you want to. Trust me, you'll still look good. If you're a girl or a guy, you'll still get complimented, because that's some good swag to be wearing, and it also goes towards a good cause. Now, without further ado, we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, Jamie and Tom are going to join me here, and we're going to start in the pocket segment here on the Wednesday edition of the Game Sports Show. You're listening to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, national sports show, on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or on the Scott Nason YouTube channel. Make sure you don't go anywhere. Lots more to come. The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, SportsCenter Bar and Grill. SportsCenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. SportsCenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At SportsCenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. SportsCenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
Hi, this is Joe Bowen, and you're listening to the Game Sports Show from Sault Ste. Marie.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. You're listening to the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or on the Scott Neeson YouTube channel. You may have also been directed here through Facebook and or Instagram, which is at the Game Sports Show or at the Game Sports Show SSM, respectively. And we say thank you for coming on by here tonight. And we have special guest Coach Tom Annett, was also a teacher of mine as well, and he's also no stranger to the Game Sports Show, being on it just over a couple months ago, also having some sideline reaction from him from his city championship win, and also when they won over for NASA before they went over to play in Ottawa for OFSAA, which was very successful. We're going to get that in just a few moments. And obviously I have Jamie Antonello, which you didn't hear his voice at the beginning, but now you can hear his voice now. Jamie, I'm going to go over to you first. Say how are you, my friend, before we introduce Tom.
Yeah, I'm good, Dave. Happy to be back. Took a week off there. We had a good excuse, though. We were on the bus traveling home from Ottawa, so happy to talk about the win. It was a great experience. Happy to share it with Tom as a coach this time. I was a player the last time we won, so really excited to talk about it.
Korah Colts get a big win over in Ottawa, scores 45-12 over the St. Peter's Knights. Definitely a very convincing win. Before we jump into that, Coach Tom Annett, congratulations first thing, and welcome to the show, pal.
Thanks, Dave. It's great to be back.
You know, we were sitting at the table in the back. We had to move here tonight because obviously Sportscenter is just a rocking right now. It must be the 75-cent wings that they have going on, or just because it's Christmas season, who knows. But, you know, when we were sitting just back there about a month and a half ago, we were sitting here talking about the aspirations to win cities, then the aspirations to win NASA, then it's the goal to win OFSAA, and it all happened. What's going through your mind? I know we weren't able to get the usual sideline reaction, which the listeners love, by the way, a lot of positive reactions. Sorry that the Game Sports Show couldn't fly to Ottawa this time around. Maybe next year we can do something if we figure something out. But honestly, Tom, you must have been just so excited. You know, you've won it. You've won it previously in 2009. You're with the Dun. You know, you're no stranger to winning. Obviously, you've had a lot of success in cities the last couple of years. So, what's going through your mind, man?
It was a great experience, and really just couldn't be more proud of the kids. They put in a tremendous amount of work, and I truly believe they earned this victory with the work they put in. And not just throughout the season, but in the off-season and the weight room. And it started in February last year where we had workouts, and our kids did a great job. So a lot of them set this goal, and I always tell our kids, when you got a group like we got working together towards one goal, it's a really powerful thing.
It's one thing that you'll never forget. Jamie, you've won it in 2009 when you were with Sir James Dunn Eagles, which is no longer a thing, the Sir James Dunn. You know, obviously it's unfortunate that the Dunn's still not standing. Tom, I still miss driving by there and not seeing that historic school, but you've won it. Now you've won it as a coach. You know, you have experience winning the NASA before, obviously, with the junior team. So just jump into how you feel before we really dive into the game.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of, I guess you could consider me a part-time coach with the senior team this year. Once we finished Tom will say full-time, but I mean, wasn't at every practice throughout the year. I was coaching the junior team, but at every game, sure.
Last 3 weeks were full-time, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely last 3 weeks, but no, it was awesome. I had a different perspective. I'm the guy in the booth on game day, so up top, all the scouts are there. It's a completely different animal when you go to OFSAA. Every university in Ontario is there. There's a couple universities out east, a couple out west that flew in just to watch the bowl series for all 3 days. It's a cool festival that OFSAA puts on, and the best part is that our athletes get a chance to showcase themselves. And hopefully, if they have university aspirations to play university football, that's their opportunity to show up. And it was great. I mean, we had a dominant performance. really proved where our program's at. I think I know a couple of our guys were chomping at the bit to play a few of the other schools there that had really good showings. That's just the way it goes sometimes. But the big thing from being up top was hearing the scouts' reaction as we're climbing down the elevator, and they're asking me like, okay, what's number 25 like, and that's Nick Gervaisi. He had a monster game, so guys were clamoring all over. A lot of our players got talked to after the game. Really exciting for them, and that's the reason why, I mean, a lot of time in the summer we push guys to play SaberCats is to get that exposure. Scouts are at the games down south, so.
And gameplay. And just general gameplay. To play games is just different than working out, too. It's good to have the game and that also just being a part of it, because if you don't play hockey, for example, or basketball or football, whatever it may be, you take time off, you miss kind of that game timing. You miss kind of that. So it's good that obviously the Cats programs really push that.
Yeah, well, and you're right. Scouts are looking for film. They want to see how you show up on game day. But awesome experience. Had a blast. It was a great 3 days. I think the kids were good. They're focused. I think the way you could really tell it was different for our fifth years that really wanted it. Oh, yeah. And a lot of those guys are a little bit more lax and like have a lot of fun throughout the season, but you kind of just see a little bit of a switch flipped, and I was really proud of the guys and proud to be a part of it.
See, you were just saying with the offensive showing, you've taken a quote here from online. On offense, Nick Gervaisi finished with 161 yards on 16 carries, which is monstrous. Zach Zeppa carried the ball for 92 yards for that would be for you guys as well. You had Zach Polentano rush for 74 yards and 5 carries. On defense, Zach Aaron and Jabe Jurkic combined for 14 tackles, with 8 for Karen and 6 for Jurek. So obviously you had Brecken get a couple touchdowns as well. So MVP this year. It's just fantastic how the offense really showed in this game, Tom. And go through the win. Like what was the game plan from kickoff right to the final buzzer?
Yeah, just hearing all those names is great. I've always said, from an offensive standpoint, which makes us so difficult to defend is we have so many weapons and we distribute the ball. And you can see the number of guys that had big yards accumulated. So we're not one-dimensional. We also scored a beautiful touchdown, Jordan Robinson right to Brecken through the air. So, that makes us tough to defend. The game plan really was, I'll start offensively. We wanted to establish our run game like we always do. And, usually we start with buck sweep and see how that goes and see how teams adjust. And if they try to take that away, we counter with other stuff in our playbook. And I think it worked pretty well. I mean, we didn't punt once the entire game, which says a lot. And we rushed for – there wasn't an official stat sheet we saw, but when we added it up, we were real close to 500 yards rushing again, which would have made it 3 weeks in a row with very close to 500 yards. So, around 1,500 yards in 3 games is pretty impressive. Yeah, it's insane. So anyway, offensively everything just kind of clicked. And another thing we wanted to try and do is wear them down, and that's kind of one of our goals all year. I mean, we're a very physical team, especially on the line. We take a lot of pride in our old linemen, who we call the chain gang, and they really stepped up in playoffs. And that's exactly what we saw, firing off the ball and hitting hard every single play. Eventually their guys started to get worn down and fatigued, especially because we mustered some really long drives together as well. And as the game went on, it just seemed like we were getting stronger and stronger, and they were starting to get weaker and weaker. So the game plan offensively worked great. Defensively, they had a Team Ontario quarterback, 6'4", really good player. So we knew that was going to be a problem. Very first drive of the game, they kind of, they hit two huge passes right up the middle and scored on the first drive. But we were quick, made a few adjustments, and after that first drive, they didn't really have a lot of success. So, containing that pass game, but their run game too. All year they ran an outside zone play extremely well. We focused hard on stopping that all week, and the few times they ran it, we were all over it. So I think they felt kind of handcuffed offensively in that they couldn't really run the ball, and that allowed us to put more guys into coverage to defend their pass game. And again, I think it worked great. And people look at the score too, and I said this earlier to someone else I was speaking to. what do you think about your opponent? Were they not as good as you thought? No, I think that was an excellent opponent. I just think we played an excellent game, maybe our best game of the year, and that's the way it should be. You should peak in playoffs and get better and better in every week, and we challenged our players to do that, and I think they answered the call at the OFSAA Bowl game. So, again, really, really proud of them.
One big thing I just throughout the game while we were worrying about, just with OFSAA, there's so many more distractions. In pregame, they want to take your picture. There's we were also one of the live televised games, not just streamed online. So there was coach here had to do an interview at halftime. It was an extended halftime. It kind of throws your timing off of everything.
Did Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson perform?
No halftime show, unfortunately. Just a couple of OFSAA workers out there with shovels. But other than that,
Pregame was shorter too.
Yeah, pregame was shorter. We only had, I think, on the field for maybe 25, 30 minutes. Plus the picture in there. So there was a lot going on. But I could kind of tell when I came down at halftime and got into the room, just the atmosphere of our guys was just confidence. I think they knew that we were going to make adjustments. From my perspective, we had the ability to use replay this game, which I found was awesome. I was able to take advantage of that up top, able to replay plays, check alignments, and able to bring down and show the kids on the tablet they provided exactly what they're doing. They could see covers, they could watch plays, and I think our guys, like the 3 or 4 guys, I talked to Jordan big time just about reading coverages and identifying, and I thought he played a great game, just made the right reads all the time. I mean, you're going to throw interceptions every once in a while, and he was a little discouraged by that, but I thought he rebounded great, made the right reads. He knew the way the game was going. We were running the ball well, so we encouraged him to make the right reads. He make sure because he has a couple of audibles built into the offense, and did that correctly. But I kind of got the feeling at halftime that I knew we were going to come out and make we made good adjustments. Didn't have to do a ton, but I had that feeling when I walked in that locker room that we were going to come out and just blow them out of the water in the third quarter, and that's exactly what we did.
Yeah. And just to add what you said about Jordan, I thought he did an excellent job. And something that really gets taken for granted in quarterbacks, and Jordan throws a great ball, but is managing the game and then just consistent handoffs and ball fakes and being a leader back there. Sometimes when you do that so well, people take it for granted, and he does an excellent job of making really smooth handoffs, snaps. There's really been no issue, and that's credit to Owen Appleton, our center, too, with the snaps. But I've coached teams where the shotgun snap was just a gamble every time, but it was just not in question all year. And, all the backs, too, including the quarterback, with carrying out our ball fakes and our deception is excellent. And credit to Jordan and all of our backfield for doing a great job of that. And that's really opened up a lot of running lanes as well, like it has all year.
Yeah, and you brought it up briefly, but the touchdown pass he threw, Tyler's a great player. He ran a bad route on that. And Jordan threw it. I mean, I'll throw it. Love you, Tyler, but not your best route. Jordan threw a beautiful ball, threw him open, away from coverage. Tyler made a great adjustment on the play. So when we add, that goes back to just manage the game, taking advantage of the opportunities when they're presented. And especially that was an early touchdown that really broke it open. We got a short field, scored pretty much on the first play. I think we saw coverage that we wanted and took a great shot, and he made a fantastic play.
See, now Dave McCaig alongside Tommy Annett and Jamie Antonello here live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. And as I said earlier, a little bit lively here at SportsCenter, so if there's any loud noises in the back, we apologize in advance. According to the person in the background who's screaming in the background because they missed a shot in pool. But getting back to the topic here, fellas, playing a TD place in Ottawa, that's a wow factor for these kids. You've had the experience at the Rogers Center, Jamie, and you never forget that. You play on that professional turf. It's fantastic, and like you said, the exposure for this and going to Ottawa. I'm not putting anything against the Sioux, but we don't have any stadiums like this, obviously. And that's once again the people at Superior Heights and Korah, great job on the football fields that they do. But again, it's not the Rogers Center, it's not TD Place, it's not anywhere in BC. It's nothing like that. So how about adjusting to the TD Place? Was that a different adjustment for you to have to do, or was everything just status quo?
Well, it's definitely an incredible experience. I think our kids enjoyed the Jumbotron the most. They got a beautiful Jumbotron there, and I could see kids looking up after a big play and watching it. And and then the cameras on our sidelines a lot too, getting player reactions, and they definitely threw the high mom and I don't know, a couple bicep flexes, the whole deal. So they love that. That's part of the experience. That's part of the reward of getting to OFSAA, and those are great memories as well. But a few things helped us with the stadium. We went earlier in the day to watch another game there, just to kind of give our kids an idea of what they're walking into. I think that helped, and we talked about earlier in the week too to prepare them. And if we got any old people out there, we referenced the old movie Hoosiers, where you got small town Indiana basketball team playing in the state championship in the big NBA stadium, and coach goes out and he measures from the floor to the rim. It's 10 feet. The court's just as wide as our court. So we made reference to that to kind of ease their minds that even though it's a bigger, more seating, a 25,000 seating capacity, Jumbotrons, lights, the whole deal, the field's still the same as what we played on all year. So I think there's a little bit of I saw some kids staring up in the lights in the bleachers when we first got on the field, but as soon as they got those pads cracking on the first hit of the game, it was all, they got their game faces on, and it was normal as it should be after that.
Yeah, it was a little different from when I was there. I mean, being in an indoor facility at the Rogers Center, I just remember a lot warmer. That's the big thing.
You were warm though in the booth, right?
I had, it was honestly perfect weather. The snow had abated by that point. I think it was like -2, even though it was a 7 p.m. game. Well, actually, it was a little bit delayed throughout the day. The games were a little bit delayed going on, but weather was not a factor. Nobody was cold. Guys were into it. Even the guys on the sideline that, when it's -10 or worse, like a lot of time, if you're not in and out very often, or you're only going out for 1 or 2 special teams, you get cold on the sideline. Guys were loose. There was no issue with that. And I think we noticed it. You didn't see very many of our guys go down with injuries just due to weather. I don't think anybody went down nearly that whole game. One guy, and that was it. So I thought our guys accustomed themselves to it great. Being able to go early throughout the day, watch a portion of one of the games, get that lay of the land. Also give our guys an opportunity to get some souvenirs. That's a big thing. Getting that OFSAA sweater is a big thing. Coach is representing it right now. Got to get this swag. So I thought it, and I know the worry always just with those guys is when we go away on a trip, guys aren't used to it, too much time on their hands. But like I said, I think guys controlled themselves well, kept themselves mentally prepared. I just know, like, from SaberCats, there's sometimes guys on their first road trip just have no idea what's going on. They don't eat, they don't drink any water. They're destroyed by the time it's game time. Their bodies are a mess. It's like, guys, just drink water throughout the day, have a normal meal. It's just another day. So I thought our guys handled that really well.
You touched on this earlier, Jamie, but the leadership was excellent on this trip. And, you mentioned some of those fifth-year guys. And, some people who know some of these guys might be surprised to hear this, but, guys like Gav McWilliam, McCameron Anderchuk, those guys really stepped up when we needed them to. They were great. Jordan Polichicho really comes to mind. I mean, there's our regular leaders who've done it all year, but I think seeing those fifth years get our guys focused. And I constantly tell our team, the more, if I'm talking to a team always about going to class and taking care of the change room and those things, the more I'm spending time talking about non-football issues, the worse we're going to be. And it felt like there wasn't much of that this whole year for the most part, but during playoffs, everything was running incredibly smooth. So credit to our leaders, our veterans, for making this a business trip, but also having a great time, very memorable time. But they were there to do a job, and I know they don't regret it. It was a blast.
Yeah, and I think that really testament to that, and even our players got a bit of a shout out in the Ottawa Sun articles about showing up, treat it like a business trip. Our guys took it upon themselves to dress formally, walk in the stadium professionally, suits and ties. A couple guys looking through the underbelly of the stadium. They took it serious, despite the fact that we didn't get the primo change room that we hoped we would get. But with that many games going on, you're not always going to get it. But our guys, nothing really fazed them. They were focused. I thought they did a fantastic job, like you said. All those fifth-year guys, They wanted it. You could tell. They knew it was their last game in a Korah Colts football sweater, and they couldn't be prouder. And I know from personal experience, you remember this forever. Nobody can take it away. You're an OFSAA champion. That's the way it is.
Interesting fact that I had highlighted that I want to say for you, unique time this, and you probably know of this, Coach. Until they say Northerners, but Korah Colts, that's the name of the obviously that we're describing here, arrived. No team has ever contested St. Pete's. The Knights outscore their opposition 206 to 56 throughout the entirety of their season, and you went into Ottawa basically in their backyard, essentially, or close to it, and beat them 45 to 12. That's absolutely amazing. Good little fun little stat. Gotta love the internet when it comes to finding those little statistics out. Jamie knows better than anybody. I love my stats. That is my thing. But now, transitioning, Coach, a couple more things before we let you go. I'm kind of hesitant bringing this up, but I'm looking at next year. Are you even thinking of next year at this time? Or you already had the TPW weight sessions going on? No, saw the videos on Instagram, and you can follow that at Korah Football for Instagram, and that Instagram page is probably one of the best in the suit. I'm not kidding. You got all the hashtags going, you got the promotion going on. You're dedicated, my man, for real. Give me some insight for next year. A 9-0 season, and you win OFSAA. It's almost like you want to repeat it because you can't go any higher than that. You just want to repeat that, right?
Well, I've already had multiple players tell me how excited they are about next year, and our coaching staff is as well. I mean, we're going to be a very good team again next year.
There's a lot of returning players.
Right? A lot of returning players, yeah. So we have a junior team that was undefeated, so the grade 10's moving up from there, excellent. Our current grade 11 class, so our first-year seniors this year, is one of the most athletic groups we've ever had come through Korah. So they'll be grade 12s next year. And then there's the whole fifth-year factor. We don't know 100% who's coming back for that fifth year, but I've already heard from several key pieces that they are coming back. So, there's still a few guys that are unsure, but it sounds like Aaron Karanen's coming back. Jacob Jurich is coming back. Thomas Tebow, Jordan Lambert, Jordan Robinson-Wright. Again, some of these things could change, so I don't want to... we don't pressure the kids either way. It's a life decision here we want to do. They got to consult with their parents, but we would love to have them back. And, we're going to be very talented. So we're extremely excited about that. And then the off-season workouts, we open up our weight room for formal workouts usually in February, but it's open all the time after school. But you saw on the Instagram, there's already guys in there pumping iron just a few days after OFSAA, so they're chomping at the bit. They're excited, and that's part of our culture. And this brings up another good point I want to talk about. Winning that OFSAA, I got a lot of well wishes from former players that go way back, and I made sure to tell every one of them that you are every bit a part of that OFSAA championship as the kids on the current team. And I tell them, you laid the foundation. You bred this culture in them, and we weren't as talented back then, but it started with a few key pieces, and it just built and built and built every year. So they modeled that behavior, built a culture, and it gets to the point now, just to give you an example, earlier this week, like the first week after OFSAA championship, we're in the weight room. Zach Politano, one of our captains, who's done now, he's moving on, but he said, you know what, Coach, I'm going to make it my mission to be in here all the time and get everyone who's coming back next year to get them as strong and as fast and as explosive as possible. So there you have a guy who's not even going to be playing in our program next year, and he's showing that commitment that he wants to get our guys ready for the following season. Also, another shout out to Zach Politano, heavily recruited after that game. We knew he had an excellent game. He had an excellent season. But he's a guy who pretty much wasn't on anyone's radar because he hadn't played SaberCats.
Love those type of guys.
Yes.
He plays this summer.
He already told me he's playing this summer. Just a warrior in the weight room, the way he's transformed himself with the effort and commitment he put in there. But seeing him get kind of, bombarded by scouts after the game was just another one of those, it was one of those special memories I'll have because he earned it, he deserved it, and I 100% believe he has the potential to play, and I'm just glad that some of these universities got to see a guy like him play at this stage, and hopefully it works out for Zach now where he gets an opportunity to play at that next level. But kind of got off on a tangent here. We're excited about next year. A lot of talent, and if we get some of these 50 years back, say they're coming back, look out for Korah next year. And we're really excited, really excited.
Yeah, and as excited as all this is, we still haven't even had our rear-end banquet, and guys are already this excited.
December 17th, you can confirm that. It was officially confirmed today. I've been getting a lot of questions. December 17th at the Marconi. I'll put an Instagram post up soon about it.
Perfect. It's a couple Mondays away. Should be a great night, as it always is. But on your point, Coach, about former players, it was cool. A lot of former Korah players go to school in Ottawa and came to watch the game and came on the field after. And Nick Nicoletta, Jerry L'Italian, Adrian Torak, all those guys were there, and they were pumped. They were having a great time.
It's like they played.
Yeah, I think it was extra special for Nick just because Mike was there up with us for the game. But
yeah, it was great to see those guys. I made sure to give them a big hug there too, and again, let them know that they are every bit responsible for this championship as the current players.
Absolutely, they're part of that building blocks that brought the program back. But Dave, you look like you're itching to ask one more question over there.
Itching to ask another question. I like that. Okay, now I'll ask you. I like throwing underneath the bus here, but I'm going to do it, okay, because we're at that relationship. Because Jamie's here, he's coached, he's played on this team. The 2009 Dunn team. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to do that. This was a great season by Korah. I don't remember the Sir James Dunn record. Was it? It was 10. No, it's another undefeated year there, Coach. You put those two teams on the field. Yeah. Obviously, two different teams. Okay, I think with you had Billy Guiley and Rob Ramsey, you had Max Sullivan, you had yourself. Compare those two teams if they went head-to-head, or is that fair to say right now? Can I throw you under the bus to say that? I wanted to ask them one funny question because I know Max and the guys are going to be listening to this, so I had to give them a little shout-out. Who wins that football game, Coach?
I'm not going to answer this one. I'm not going to answer it. I will say they're different teams. The talent on that 2009 team was something that, listen, that team won.
Football in the super high school. Look at the
yes. Yeah, there's some a freakish number of kids that went on to play CIS, and the size of that team was mind-boggling. Now, this team we got now doesn't have that size necessarily, but it's got there's some great qualities in this team too. Just both teams are tough, and they both had great qualities. Anyway, I'm dodging your question. I'm not going to answer it. I love both teams. They're great. I'll let Coach Antonello answer that one because he's got an excuse because he's biased because he was on the 2009 team. So I'll let him handle it.
Be honest, Coach. Be honest.
No, I'm going to dodge it too. I mean, even the fact, like I said, it was different years. I will say, I mean, I have that ring. Nobody can take that away from me, and now our guys are going to have rings. But Mike Campbell and I were talking, and Mike had the opportunity to be a coach this year as well. So that was pretty special, pretty cool for us. We were talking after the game, and we made sure to get a picture with Coach in the banner. But to go from being a player, and I remember just telling the captains on this Korah team, like, the coolest thing is when you win and get to go get that trophy. I remember, and myself and Mike were both captains on that 2009 Dunn team. We had that opportunity, and being able to look back and see that picture of us grabbing the trophy, it just brings back memories like crazy.
We're getting old, man.
9 years ago it was, but nobody can take it away from you. It's really hard to compare teams.
You're thinking about it, though. I know you want to answer it.
Well, I mean,
you want to answer it.
Like, if we were to play like us right now against them, they'd destroy us because we're all slow and out of shape. I'll say that. Yeah. I mean, like, I'd probably get cut blocked by Gavin and then be done for the game. I'd be out in the first quarter. And then who knows if he's snapping to Campbell. But, I mean, yeah, no way I'm going to answer that. Proud of our guys from Korah. Really proud of the guys that played on that Dunn team, too. So, no way I'm giving you a straight answer there, Dave.
I tried to get it out of you. I tried to sneak it out of you. No, definitely congratulations to the Korah Colts Senior team. We know Jordan Robinson-White, we had him on in the summer. We partner up with the high school program, obviously, throughout the year. But with the SaberCats and covering the Steelers in the summer, you get to know some of these kids, see them grow and grow each year. It's very exciting to see how it's come around and for them to win, much deserving for sure. Now, Coach, I'm going to let you go. Awesome time. As always, we're going to be in touch and let things go. You got some more things you want to bring up quick?
Two more things.
Two more things. Okay, all you. You can have it. Yes. Oh, you can shout out as many sponsors as you want. All you.
Before I do that, I just want to say the wins are great and they're unbelievable, and this season's remembered forever. And it's when you win a championship, it's like I think I heard forgetting his name, the coach though, but said it's almost like a blood transfusion. You're linked forever with this group of guys, and. But you know what? The real test here of the success of this team and all teams is if we go 20 years in the future, where are these guys going to be? Are they going to be great fathers, great husbands? Are they going to have successful careers? And that is really what we emphasize in our program. Again, the wins are great and it's unbelievable. But that's, since we started prioritizing that, the character development, the leadership, the wins came with that. And so that's the true mark. 20 years from now, are our guys going to be successful, great family men, great careers, people who help their community, that make sacrifices for other people, and I'm confident they will. I've watched these guys grow and mature throughout the season, and I'm really proud of them. And I'm really excited to see how they continue to develop beyond high school. The second thing I have to do is, when you travel to Ottawa like this, and with our climate practicing indoors, there's a lot of financial pressure, and a lot of people really stepped up to help our program get to Ottawa and be able to practice indoors, and that came from some of our parents at our pub night. But there's also some groups who I have to mention. So the local firefighters, Rector Machine Works, Beta Fluid Power, TMS, Pim Street Dental and Dr. Peter Chadoba, Granite by Design, custom countertops, in-style floor coverings, Home Hardware, Alfano, Auto Body, Westside, Inner City Spring Services and George's Garage, Maverick and Son Exterior, Ergo Office, Freshie, Matt Klebus, who is our sideline medical professional, and all the people that work with him at Northern Chiropractic and Physiotherapy, and of course, not last them yet, the city of Sault Ste. Marie helped us out too a little bit. But last but not least, Sportscenter, which is where we are right now. They gave us a little something to help us out, and we are very grateful for that. And finally, the Esquire, too, who helped our pub, and they were very generous to us as well. So I'm really hoping I didn't forget someone, but so many people came together to help us, and we are forever grateful. We couldn't have done what we've done or even gotten to Ottawa if it wasn't for your support.
Little thing that I didn't tell Jamie on the way here, but a lot of developments with the Game Sports Show. When it comes into next year, we'd like to support with Korah and high school football in general. Maybe a little something on jerseys. I don't know. Maybe a little. That's a little. The Jamie's laughing, but that'd be great. Definitely got to give a shout out to all those sponsors. Without the sponsors, it cannot be done. Doesn't matter if it's for football. Doesn't matter if it's for a business or the Game Sports Show. Without sponsors, it doesn't get done.
Let me thank our local media, too. The coverage here, obviously the Game Sports Show, what Dave does is awesome, and our players and parents love this. I've got a lot of positive feedback from this, but all local media really have done an incredible job covering local sports this year. That's been great. That's been great and really helpful, not just for Korah, but all high school football.
Definitely, the Sioux does come together, truthfully. It does come together. The city could be just fantastic. I'm not saying that's not. Okay, but we got to get back to what it used to be. I remember how sports used to be in the early thousands with not just football. I think football has been on the ascending side of any other sport in Sault Ste. Marie, to be totally honest with you. Hockey's dwindled down, and Craig Hartsburg and I are going to talk about it tomorrow, how the hockey development in the Sioux has gotten less. Football's ascended. You got basketball, it's not ascending, it's been neutral, and baseball's not even existent, it seems like. So the Sioux, in terms of sports, when we come together for something, it is great. Now, to save that for a whole other topic and another day. That's another maybe roundtable discussion for sure. Tom, I know Jamie had one more thing that he wanted to bring up before we signed off here.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've said it a million times, but just to thank Coach for the opportunity to coach. But I kicked myself in the shin last time we had you on for not talking about the coaching staff and the senior team, and just maybe give those guys a shout out. I know a couple of them listen to the show, and just kind of give a breakdown of our staff and how you know them, how they've been around Korah, and just talk about the guys.
Yeah, obviously I'm biased, but I think we got the best staff maybe in Ontario, and our coaches work hard, and I think our players see that, and that helps motivate them to work hard as well. So let's just go randomly here. Jason Thompson's our defensive coordinator, who's kind of family now with me. He's married to my wife's cousin, but he played linebacker with me at Wilfrid Laurier. He's watching him improve as a coach each year is awesome, and it's great to have one of your best friends. He truly is one of my best friends coaching with you, so that's great. And we have Matt Primo, who's played a huge role with the offense, also the Sault Sabercats head coach, also a Laurier football alumni. Another Laurier football alumni, Michael Campbell, who played on that 2009 team with Jamie. Played quarterback there. Also a local teacher. Lucky to get him added to the staff this year. Bob Lambert is a teacher at Korah. He's been involved with the Korah football program forever, and he works with the line. He's done an incredible job, not only on field, but a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff too. Yes, I mean, a lot of inspirational, motivational stuff. He does that. You're right, that whole chain gang concept for the O-line was brought up by him, and that's been huge for our program. Another guy who works with the line, joined the staff this year, is Travis Zorzit, and man, has he ever been an incredible addition. Yeah, Korah alumni, played Sabercats as well. Rarely do we have someone just cold call, reach out, saying they want to coach, and that's exactly what he did, and man, has he ever been awesome. Willing to learn, willing to do anything, and he did an excellent job. We also have Dustin Gronin, who's, well, you guys all know him. He's great. He's a player's coach, which is it's important to have someone like that on the team. I know he's really good. A lot of the players confide in him, and he's excellent like that. He'll put his arm around a guy, pull him off to the side, and get his mind right. And that's one of the main reasons we brought him up onto the staff. We knew we needed someone like that, and I don't think we'd be where we are today if it wasn't for him. A lot of people, maybe he doesn't. A lot of people don't see what he does, but I know that, and I have players tell me how much they appreciate and respect having him on the staff. And he's a pretty fun guy too. Yeah. Nigel. A couple Molson products, especially. Yeah, absolutely. Nigel Milne worked with running backs. Another guy who helped me with that, helped us with that 2009 Dunn team. His younger brother played on the team, but he coached there too. Came back to coaching here. He had to move away about 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the way through the season for a job opportunity, but he came back home for the city finals and made the trip up to OFSAA, so we're really happy to have him there. Christian Mahler, one of the best football players to ever come out of the city, University of Waterloo. I think he was a conference all-star. Got some CFL interest. Anyway, he works with our special teams and defensive backs, and he does an incredible job. And another guy who our players really love having on the team. Yeah, a lot of respect, and like I said, the kids really look up to him, and he's been awesome. Okay, who am I forgetting here? I'm forgetting someone. Well, Matt Klebus obviously is our medical professional on the sidelines. We're one of the few teams that have that luxury in the city, and Matt volunteers hundreds of hours, not only on the field at our games, but he's seeing our senior football players during the season as well and prioritizing them. So that's incredible. I can't say enough about Matt either. It's not just helping our players, rehab injuries, but he's doing a lot of prehab stuff, preventing our players from getting injured in the first place. He's doing testing on them to see, and assessments to see if they're at risk of injuries, and then prescribing exercises to prevent them from getting hurt. I mean, he's really doing next level stuff. And if anyone has physiotherapy or chiropractor needs, I highly recommend you contact them, because he is cutting edge, and he's always looking to better his craft, taking new courses all the time. So please go see Matt Klebus with your business. Not just because he supports us, because he'll fix you and get you feeling healthy. Miss Fletcher at Korah, she was an addition this year, and wow, has she ever been awesome. Did a lot of, again, behind the scenes work, help with some of our promotional days like Staff Appreciation Day, Family Appreciation Day, which was a huge hit. I think that really was a great thing. She helps a bit with our social media, does some picture stuff. With our fundraiser, her and Miss Wilson were awesome in helping us with that. So can't say enough about Miss Fletcher, and she's going to help us out with the banquet too, definitely. Mr. Porco also at Korah, Jake Porco, with equipment handout, inventory, banquets, all the finances. I mean, he's, the amount of work there is during the season, can't do it without him. He was awesome. The Belkoskis, Lauren and Heather Belkoski are our parent reps, and man, wow, are they awesome. I mean, their son is not even involved in our football program anymore, and they came back and helped. They drove down to Ottawa and brought a bunch of stuff for us, hooked up heaters, brought tents. It's unbelievable what they do. They help sell all of our gear at the games, and last year they ran the 50-year reunion event. I mean, it's unbelievable how many people we have helping us, and we say that it takes a village. Yeah, one of our themes last week was together, and that's what makes football so great, is that you do it together with so many people. And I think because our program's rolling now, we're at a place where we have so many high-quality people in the right places, and we're blessed. We're extremely fortunate, and we wouldn't be where we are without them. And obviously our administration, Sergio Acco, who I think is the best principal maybe anywhere. What he has done for our program, I can't stress enough. We're so grateful to have him, and the entire athletics program, everything. The whole school is just lucky to have him. He's the number one supporter of the school, and he understands the true value of extracurriculars and athletics and how they're the lifeline of any great school. Did I forget someone? I think I might have. I hope I didn't. Oh, yes, absolutely. Our athletic director, Greg Arbor. He oversees all boys athletics and a huge supporter of our program. He's our hockey coach too, and we are huge supporters of multi-sport athletes, and we really preach that. And having Greg echo that message throughout our entire athletics program has obviously strengthened our football program, but in turn it has helped other sports too. And he's excellent, just great at teaching leadership. And I'll still mention Gary Cormier, too, was the athletic director before him, which was very responsible for getting us to this point before Greg took over. I'm still worried I forgot someone. If I did, I really apologize.
Me and my staff.
Yes. Junior staff is awesome. They develop the players. And, how can I forget Jamie, obviously, who's
Second best, bro.
Yeah, probably one of the most important pieces in the whole thing. What he's managed to do with our junior program, 3 championships in a row, and having him help out with the senior program this year was unbelievable. I don't know what we're going to do without him next year. We'll try and figure something out, but
I was waiting for that announcement.
Oh, jeez.
No, it's okay. It's
Did I ruin that? Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. But anyway, Jamie, again, it's been amazing, coaching you and then working with you and sharing a championship with you as a player, but now as a coach has been awesome. And Jamie's not just an amazing coach and colleague, but a friend now, one of my best friends, and we're really lucky to have him. And it's special to celebrate these things with people who you have such great respect for. Yeah. So before I tear up, I'll pass the phone over to someone else here. Thank you again.
Got to use the old microphone setup here at the Game Sports Show. Definitely live and atmosphere, and that's probably holding your tears back because you got a lot of people around. That's my prediction, but definitely great job, Mr. Annett. I still call him Mr. Annett. He wasn't a coach to me. You're lucky to have him as a coach, obviously. Very successful. And one of the best teachers I've had, and I'm not brown-nosing, even though he gave me a high mark for probably no reason that I definitely didn't deserve. I really think that, there's you got to be more individuals like yourself and Jamie in terms of that's what's really going to accelerate the programs in the Sioux, and Korah has definitely been an example of how programs should be ran and does not go anywhere without the help of people of the roots and foundation. You definitely touched on that. So any final thoughts, Jamie, before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it a million times. I'll say it all the time. I mean, I'm so happy to have been a part of the Korah football program and get closer to Tom and as a coach and as a friend. And I remember that coming back that first year, it was just weird him asking to call him Tom. And then fast forward 7 years and we're OFSAA champs as coaches together, and couldn't be prouder of the program, couldn't be happier to have been a part of the program. And I'll still be checking in next year. I'm sure I'll be part of the brain trust, so to speak, for at least a little while, and I'll keep up with everything and hopefully make it back to OFSAA and I'll be able to travel down.
I was waiting for you to say or you somewhere to say it about Jamie Antonello not being on the staff next year due to moving on to other things in life. But guess what, listeners? He's still going to be on the Game Sports Show, though. Don't worry, I can't let that go anywhere. Absolutely not. Somehow I might have to throw him some money. I don't know how that's going to go. Throw him some extra coin. But definitely thanks, Jamie, for joining us with this. Obviously, we got another part to talk about. We got our usual NFL update in terms of continuing our In the Pocket with Week 13 recap. Week 14 coming up, and you and I are tied in our record for the overall season for the Blake Winter Pick'em Fantasy League that we have here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Tommy, I want to say thank you again for coming on by. You've been great all season, great sport, coming on the show with everything you shared to the Korah Football Instagram page, which is at Korah Football. Best Instagrammer around is yourself, and also with the sideline reaction this year, and definitely excited going into next year as well and see if you can duplicate the success. Again, thanks for coming on by.
Go Colts, TPW.
Love it. That's his sign off. We're going to take a break here on the Game Sports Show. This has been Dave McCaig alongside Jamie Antonello with Coach Tom Annett. We still got more in the pocket coming this way on the Game Sports Show. Don't go anywhere.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and additional home to the Game Sports Show, Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, located on 624 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Sportscenter rated top sports bar for the second year in a row. At Sportscenter, enjoy their famous 75-cent wing night along with delicious Molson products on tap, along with a great atmosphere and other great food options available as well. Sportscenter Bar and Grill, the Sioux's best sports bar.
The Wicked Sister, Sault, Michigan. Check TripAdvisor, ranked right towards the top. Awarded the Certificate of Excellence, as well as voted #1 pub in the UP. The Wicked Sister has managed to create a casual menu that offers unique, creative, and sometimes healthy offerings that rivals menu selections of any big city. Burgers and starters, snacks and shareables, soups and salads, sandwiches and tapas. On Ashman Street, Sault, Michigan. Welcome to the Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop for over 40 years meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
Hi, it's Craig Hartsburg, former NHL player and NHL coach. Welcome to the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Yours truly, David McCaig. I want to say thank you to Coach Tom Annett for coming on by once again. I'm still alongside panel member of the Game Sports Show and also coach of football, Jamie Antonello, and we're going to continue our In the Pocket segment here. You're listening to the Game Sports Show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or the Scott Nason YouTube channel, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. I'm here live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill, where it's 75-cent wing night here, and you can tell by in the background here that it's a lively atmosphere as always here at SportsCenter. And don't forget to make SportsCenter a part of your game day, which game days are on Monday, Thursday, and Sundays. You have a chance to win 4 tickets to the Miller Lite Tap Room. SportsCenter also has other draws going on for the Toronto Maple Leafs as well, called Hockey Night at SportsCenter. We have a chance to win 2 tickets to a Leafs Islanders game or a Leafs Bruins game. And as speaking from a Leafs fan here, going to see the Islanders play against Toronto, that's Tavares' former team, or to go see Toronto play Boston. It's always a good matchup there. So make sure to make football included with coming to SportsCenter. And also don't forget SportsCenter's other prizes and promotions as well. And make sure to follow their Facebook page at SportsCenter Bar and Grill. So, Jamie, we're going to jump into and continue, or in the pocket segment, but jump into the National Football League. Now, we only have the National Football League to cover here, and then we're going to do a little tidbit on the Toronto Raptors due to time constraints. We only have about an hour and 15 minutes on the show in total, so we like to keep with those time constraints just to keep producer Ghost, Scott Nason, and also our listeners at attention as well, and also just to follow the rules. Believe it or not, you and I are going to be following rules as best as we possibly can. But jumping into week 13, Jamie, you and I are now tied in our Blake Winter Pick'em Fantasy League that we like to call it here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, with Matt and Dustin also closely behind us, but you and I are 124 to 68 respectively for the entirety of the season. I'm not going to lie to you. Everyone told me that I didn't have a chance against you. I must be a surprising opponent against you right now for these for this Pick'em trophy.
I mean, Pick'ems are all over the place. You look at all the major Sunday morning and Monday morning panels. A lot of time the host, who isn't the football expert, is doing well in them. So yeah. We'll see how it comes down these last 4 weeks here, but it's close. It's exciting. It's what you want. It's playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely closer than what you and I have been in the SportsCenter Fantasy Football League. We had a pretty bad year in that, I would like to say. But moving forward, Jamie, last week was a very, and I've said this all damn year. I gotta say damn because with the expression, because it's been full of surprises. Every game, you got the ties that happen. The Browns are happening. I didn't think that's really a surprise, but to a lot of people that is a surprise. I thought 5 games they would win this year. So last week you had, the Steelers coming back against the Chargers losing. You had the Saints losing to the Cowboys. I'm sorry, that wasn't on my docket last week. If that was anybody's docket, I'd be quite surprised. Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts had a hockey game instead of a football game or a baseball game, whatever you want to refer to as. 6-0. Jacksonville wins that game. Wins that hockey game. So I'm going to say not that football game, wins that hockey game. You have also Carolina Panthers, and they end up losing to the Tampa Bay Bucks, And then it's just all you have the Falcons. Dane's team, he was very upset that they ended up losing last week as well, and as a Steeler fan, you're pretty upset that they lost since they lost to the Baltimore Ravens. So, based on surprises, though, you got the Saints being the surprise of the week last week with that loss, in my opinion. Then you have the Eagles come out and looking like they're in Super Bowl form. And Adrian Peterson running a 90-yard dash down the football field like he's with the Minnesota Vikings still. So Colt McCoy and butt fumble is still playing football. He recovered a fumble with his butt, and I love it. I love the game of football this year. It's so exciting to watch, not because of Korah Colts football, because of the National Football League. Now, Jamie, I'm going to jump in and spearhead this with going first, if you don't mind. Usually I let you go first. And the game that I'm not going to talk about is the Saints and Cowboys. I think I'm going to leave that for your dojo to kind of get the little review about. I want to talk about a game that usually I do jump into. Okay? The Pittsburgh Steelers. The San Diego Chargers. Okay? San Diego is a good football team. Yes, they're a good football team. As there's a lot of yelling here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill, I think a couple of beverages extra have been drank by our people beside us, but that is fine and dandy here as long as you're enjoying yourself here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill and you don't drink and drive. So the Chargers won 33-30. All right, the Steelers were up 23-7 going into the third quarter. Going into the fourth quarter, okay, they were up 23-15 was the score. Then the Chargers outscored them 18-7 in the fourth quarter ultimately to get the win. And Listen, I've said this at the start. I feel like I'm a Leaf fan saying this. Oh, yeah, wait, I am a Leaf fan. The defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers is something that does scare me because that's what's not going to make you win championships. All that money is in the offense. And we know all that money wasn't able to be spent on someone named Le'Veon Bell this year as he sits at home and rots his cleats, or as should I say, Bud Dupree takes his cleats, whatever you want to go with. Ben Roethlisberger has 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Connor runs 2 touchdowns with 60 yards. Antonio Brown doing Antonio Brown things, 154 yards, 1 touchdown. Juju, this is a big thing for me. Juju only had 49 yards.
He's been 100 a week.
And he's been getting about 100 yards a week. So now, yeah, it's an obvious saying for me to say that if Connor and Juju don't have good games, the Steelers might struggle. But that's why the Steelers have had success this year. Not because they have the big threat in Antonio Brown. When Antonio Brown's in double coverage, or if they're not able to give him the ball, Juju, you're counting on him to get 100 yards. Or Vance McDonald. There's a guy who only had 28 yards. Big body. They maybe catch the middle. Might be able to explore that San Diego defense. It just wasn't a good ray around for this Pittsburgh offense, in my opinion. It was the Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown show for the offense. That is it. That's all that showed up on offense. Not just because of James Conner's 2 touchdowns. Other than that, in terms of carries, he was averaging 4 yards a carry. He wasn't as effective as he has been all year. But again, he's been great all year, so I can't really put him down for that. But got to give credit to the Chargers. Battling back. Definitely fantastic. Phillip Rivers. I've always been a fan of Phillip Rivers. Not been a fan of who he replaced for on the San Diego Chargers. You all should know out there, the listeners, who he did ultimately replace. But, Keenan Allen, 148 yards touchdown. Big game for Keenan Allen. When you go to the rushing side, Justin Jackson, 63 yards, 1 touchdown. And Austin Eckler, 21 yards. Wasn't that effective. But all in all, the Steelers and Chargers had a good little offensive bout, but it went down to one player each aside, and ultimately Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen defeated Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown on the offensive side. But big reason why I think Pittsburgh lost this game is because the Pittsburgh defense was really exposed in the second half. Now, moving on to the second game that I do want to jump into quick, because we're going to choose 2 games each to quickly talk about, is I want to, and hopefully I'm not stealing your thunder here, Jamie, but I really want to jump into the Eagles-Redskins. Okay, and if I did steal it, I apologize. I really think the Eagles, their record does not state how they truly are. I think that is something. And Washington being 6-6, it seems like everything's getting back down to earth. But Alex Smith being injured has been the big reason why Washington's really went down. You have Colt McCoy and butt fumble Sanchez playing those games. It's not going to win a lot of football games, but when you have somebody named Adrian Peterson running almost 100 yards with a touchdown, that's not too bad to see that out of him. But without the professor of football, I like to call him, with Alex Smith, I like to call him the big professor, the quarterback there for the Redskins. He's been a key to their success. He's been successful with Kansas City, getting them into playoffs and having successful there in the season because of his smarts. But Carson Wentz, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but all around that Eagles team, if you look at that offense with Golden Tate being there from the Detroit Lions, big fan of that trade. Zach Ertz, it's probably the best tight end, I think. Well, no, Travis Kelce, I think, would be the best tight end football along with Gronk, but Ertz is up there too, for sure. And, the Eagles defense had a great football game as well. So I won't jump into this as well, but that's one Monday Night Football game that was actually intriguing to watch and good to watch. The action right off the start was good for the Philadelphia Eagles, but I really liked the second quarter. I think it was a lot of the Washington Redskins pulled and tied. Well, ultimately they went in the second half down by 1 going into the second half, but I really liked the second half there. Very entertaining game all around. Jamie, if we give you 2 games to talk about before we jump into this week with making our predictions.
Yeah, I mean, apparently, quickly just on the Washington Philly game. As soon as Colt McCoy went down, I knew Philly was going to it didn't matter. And they didn't destroy them. It was a 2-touchdown win. But Mark Sanchez had been there for like 3 days. Wasn't part of the system. You knew it was going to be a struggle when he got in the game. And Adrian Peterson's stats are pretty inflated, though. I think he had just 100 yards. He had 90 of that on 1 carry.
Yeah, he did.
He got shut down the other 8 carries for like 8 yards. So, not really. Washington struggled on the whole. I think New York's going to beat them in the standings. I think they're going to finish 3rd in the NFC East now. I think it's Philly. Philly's going to win that division, and I think New York is going to finish 2nd. Not going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to finish ahead of the Redskins. So, quite a disaster.
Smith going down.
100% because of Alex Smith going down. Yeah.
If Smith was there, different story. If Smith was there, different story.
Well, he manages the game. He keeps them in it. He's a 10-6, 11-5 quarterback. He'll keep your team on the straight and narrow. Doesn't make huge mistakes. He'll have 2 or 3 games where he makes big mistakes, and usually those are in the playoffs. But I mean, that's just the way it is. But regular season, he's steady and keeps it going. The Jets in Tennessee, tight game. The big reason I want to talk about this is Taylor Lewan in the postgame, calling out all of the officials in the entire world. Oh, 100%. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get suspended because it's on film. He goes off. Quickly, one of his teammates grabs him and says, "Shut up, man. You're going to get in so much trouble." He doesn't care. I love the Tennessee Titans O-line. I love Mike Vrabel, despite the fact that Tennessee is so inconsistent, and I can't pick them week in, win out, because they beat the Patriots, and then they will lose to somebody terrible, and then they're up and down, up and down, up and down. I just love that. I think Tennessee's going to get it going in the next couple years. They're going to have to compete. They're in a tough division. That AFC South is on the rise. Tennessee, Jacksonville, I think this might be the end of Blake Bortles. I love him. He's the BOAT. He's my guy. But I think he may be ripping 6 pretty soon. Houston's awesome. Deshaun Watson's their guy. They have their quarterback.
Love Deshaun Watson.
And Indianapolis has Andrew Luck, and that team's getting better. So it's going to be pretty close. I think the Jets they knew this was going to be a trash year for them. Anytime you have a top 5 pick in the draft, you're probably not going to be successful that year. You save for like a miracle season, but it'll be next year and the year after, and we'll see what Todd Bowles can do with that crew. The other game I wanted to talk about, I'm going to skip the New Orleans-Dallas game because it's painful. New Orleans.
Why did they lose? Why did New Orleans?
Drew played poorly. Sean Payton burned his challenges early. Dallas played awesome. Their defense played legit. I can't remember their middle linebacker's name for the life of me right now, but Vander Esch, I think. Yeah, he's a stud. He's awesome.
I gotta sorry to interrupt you. Paul Van Wagner, he does broadcasting for ESPN Virginia and Blacksburg. I said on the draft show that it ended up going on. I said Vander Esch. That guy is a stud. And yeah, I'm a stats guy. I looked him up and I looked up his numbers. Yeah, shoot me down for it. But this guy is a stud, and he's showing it on the football field. I'm a big fan. Fans love him, and he has Cowboys written all over him. That's all I gotta say. You may continue, Jamie. Sorry, I must promote my cockiness or my predictionness. That's right when it comes right.
Thanks, man. No, I mean, I think maybe it's the cowboy collar that nobody takes him seriously because it's like, okay, people stopped wearing cowboy collars like 10 years ago. But no, New Orleans had a very bad game. Dallas had a great game. Zeke took over that game. He dominated. Dak managed it well. Drew played poorly, save for the 1 touchdown pass. But, I mean, New Orleans is going to bounce back. But I want to talk about the New York Giants and Chicago Bears game. The Bears got felled by the Giants. I think as soon as the Giants lost last week, it kind of took their dream of potentially running the table and making the playoffs. As soon as they lost to Philly in that close game a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, sorry. But they're still a gritty team. I mean, Odell throwing another touchdown pass. The hilarious stat of the day was 40-plus yard touchdown passes for the Giants. Odell has 2. Eli has 0 on the season. Hilarious. Saquon with another highlight reel hurdle. He fell down, but the still frame photo of it is disgusting. He's like 12 feet in the air. Guy is nowhere near him. He's doing like a perfect splits. The guy has quad tree trunks. He's unbelievable. If he can stay healthy, Saquon's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm calling it right now. It's not a far-fetched call. He's gross. He's awesome. I still think Chicago's got a firm grip on the NFC North. I'm pretty excited to see what they can do. Hopefully they can get it going. Khalil Mack is awesome. Just pass rush is going. Put the highest paid offensive lineman on his butt in Slater. Just like one arm just on his ass. It was awesome. That was a fun game to watch too, though. Went to overtime. All right.
Surprise.
Giants kicked the field goal to win. Back and forth. I mean, the game started with a pick 6, so you know that's going to be an exciting game right off the bat. Chase Daniel had a really good game. Tariq Cohen threw a touchdown pass on a running back pass. It was awesome. So, I mean, exciting, lots of plays back and forth. That's a very rewatchable game. I had a lot of fun watching it myself, but crazy week. I was lucky to go 9-7 on my picks. A lot of upsets, a lot of weird games. It's that point in the season, though. Now it's getting gritty because teams are going to start clinching playoff spots and clinching divisions, and then it's about home field or not. It's going to really come down to the wire. Everything means everything now. It's different from like week 7 where things are still wide open. You can lose a couple in a row and still go. We're week 14. There's only 4 weeks left. The Rams clinched. They're the first team to clinch, but their divisions just got like awful. Nobody's very good. And the head-to-heads versus Seattle is the reason why they clinched so early. But moving forward, do you want to get us started, Dave, this week again? Keep the trend going from last week? Or am I going to start with the picks?
Hey, I'm going to say a fun fact. The week that I went first, I went 12-3. Last week we didn't have a show. I went 12-3. You went 11-4. Where's Primo when I could rub that in there? So you know what? I can tell you right there, 12-3. I know what the fuck. I'm just kidding. I do, I guess. But besides the point, yeah, the week that I went first went 12-3. So you know what? Why not? I'm going to keep my train rolling, keep my pride intact, and be conceited as holy hell because everyone knows I love being conceited. Let's move forward with jumping into week 14 predictions. Dave McCaig is so confident. That's me, ladies and gentlemen. I already have my picks typed. Jamie doesn't yet. He doesn't yet because he didn't have the chance to. That's why his picks aren't typed, to be totally honest with you. But we will have Matt and Dustin's picks hopefully going on to next week. Dustin's picks are through his Pick'em, and same with Matt. We've been going with that as well. We'll get updates going into next week with that. But we all know they're right behind me and Jamie by decent margin. So going to get into our picks this week. A very pivotal week 14 in the National Football League. And that's the term I love to use, pivotal. That will be the word of the day today is pivotal. I might say it one more time, pivotal. But predictions, Jamie. Let's get real. Let's have the serious talk about predictions going into us. We have this week, the 15, 16, and 17 before the Blake Winter Pick'em Trophy is presented here on the Game Sports Show. I'll jump into the first game. Titans-Jaguars. Here's poor Jacksonville. You are an absolute dumpster fire right now, and you're not playing hockey this week. Hopefully you actually get some touchdowns and make it very exciting. When I want to watch hockey, I'll watch actual hockey on the ice and watch my Toronto Maple Leafs spank or another team or go into overtime and Austin Matthews snipe Bar South. Either way, if I want to watch hockey, I'll watch my Maple Leafs. When it comes to football, I want to see some touchdowns. I want to see some hits. I want to see some sacks. I want to see some good receptions. I want to see some Odell Beckham-type catches in the end zone. I want to see someone like Des Bryant drop the ball. I want to see that kind of stuff. And obviously, Des Bryant's not playing. I'm just referring to a former player with the Cowboys, obviously. But at the end of the day, I want to see some excitement. Titans are winning this game, and the reason why I picked the Titans is because they're more exciting to watch. That's why I said that big rant there. Jamie?
All right. I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think I've already talked about the Titans and what happened to them last week and Taylor Lewan, and I love that attitude no matter what. Hopefully he doesn't get suspended for this game because that would kind of suck because he's their best offensive lineman. Regardless, Tennessee's been so up and down. Just the fact that they're at home on a Thursday night, I'm going to go with the Titans. I think they're fighting for a playoff spot. Jacksonville's out. They're done. They're 4-8. There's no way they're making the playoffs. Tennessee's 6-6. If they win out, they're potentially in a wildcard spot here. It's going to be tough. But this is a big win in regards to them potentially getting there.
Sweep for the Tennessee Titans. Panthers-Browns. I'm not going to lie to you, Jamie. This was tough for me. I'm very tough on this pick, but I have to go a little bit of the biased side and go with the Panthers just because I just feel that the Panthers have something to prove here. Not saying the Browns don't, but when it comes to playoff talk, the Panthers are more in that conversation. When it comes to playoff discussion, I think this is the extra motivator in this. So that's my only reason, because I couldn't be more proud of Cleveland this year. I've loved watching that football team. I predicted 5 or more wins this year, definitely no more than 6. I like what they have on the field, Cleveland, but I got to go with Carolina just by a slight advantage.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Panthers as well for kind of the same reasons for Tennessee. They're in the playoff. They're in the playoff hunt here. They're fighting for a wild card spot. I think Cleveland is kind of poised to play spoiler here a little bit, because if they beat Carolina here, that kind of puts the Panthers out of a playoff spot. They're 6-6 as well. They pretty much have to win out. They've struggled the last. I think Carolina's coming off of a division loss versus the Bucs. I think
Big loss.
that's a big loss. I think Super Cam's going to be fired up and ready to go. I'm betting big on playoff teams and quarterbacks looking for redemption this week in my picks. Stay tuned.
Good points. Love that. Ravens, Chiefs. Again, Chiefs, high-powered offense. They're at home. Again, they just keep that going. The Ravens, they're fighting for playoff, though. So if I said that the Ravens wouldn't have a chance, I'd be lying to you because it would kibosh my previous point about the Panthers. But I'm missing the Chiefs because I think they're the better team overall. And, Patrick Mahomes continuing his MVP season.
Yeah, nobody can keep up with Kansas City. And even with the loss of Kareem Hunt, that's a big thing. I'll pass it over to you after here. Yeah. Obviously, terrible what he did. They had to release him. I mean, the fact that he hit it and didn't own up to it. I mean, brutal. The video came out, and I mean, there's no defending him whatsoever. About the game, though, ignoring him, Pat Mahomes passed 40 touchdowns on the season, solidified himself in the MVP race. I think if you get a big win versus Baltimore, that's a playoff team, that's a really quality defensive team. Those go a long way. And being at home, I mean, they're basically touchdown favorites. Regardless, I mean, Pat Mahomes can throw the ball 55 times a game. They can still win. They don't have to have a running game. They're too good. Despite their defense, probably in Baltimore, Lamar Jackson has been playing quarterback. He's dynamic, 100%. He's tough to beat. This is the closest thing to like a Big 12 matchup quarterback-wise that we've seen in a while. But Kansas City, I think they win handily. I don't think it's ever in question.
I mean, Kansas City might need a running back, eh? What's that say in the offseason? Someone's so open right now. I think they have cap space a little bit. But we're not going to jump into Le'Veon Bell. Enough talking about him. But I want to say, I already said where I think Bell's going. You can listen to a previous edition of that. But we won't jump into too much about with Hunt. I know that's one thing that people would probably predict that we're going to talk about, but it's been talked about a lot on media already. We had last week's show canceled here at Sportscenter Bar and Grill due to Korah being at OFSAA football and me needing my boys here to be talking about the Korah Colts. We saved a big action-packed show for this week, so we're not going to jump into talking about him because what he did was unexcusable. I don't like talking about it. I think that is unmanly. I think that is embarrassing. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs did the right thing, releasing him without question. That wasn't even thought of.
They had to.
There was nothing they could really do with that. And at the end of the day, this is something that the National Football League has to somehow change. And I can get into more specifics about it, but then I might get other people mad at me, so I won't jump into specifics right now until another time. At the end of the day, moving forward, this will be an exciting football game, and that's all that matters. And it's going to be without Hunt in the lineup, obviously. Next game, Houston, Indianapolis. Sorry, Justin. I'm going with Houston. At home, they've been hot. The Colts, they have a lot to prove this game, though, let me tell you. Not just because of playoffs. Again, I'm going to that playoff thing. I'm very hard this week with terms of choosing teams because of the playoff implications, how that gives that motivation. Let me tell you, that gives motivation. But I'm sorry. I just feel Texans are too hot, especially on defense. Might have the ability to shut down Andrew Luck.
All right, here's where we diverge a little.
Nice.
Playing the rope. I think Indy's going to get it. I think it's going to be close. That was just a defensive struggle last week. I think that Indy's going to go back to the drawing board. I think they're going to be really creative on offense. Houston's defense is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I think Andrew Luck is smart enough to be able to dissect it, get the ball out quick. If Indy can get a little bit of a running game going, which they have throughout the season, that's going to go a long way. I mean, you got to get through J.J. Watt and all those guys in the defensive front first. And Indy's defense has been pretty hot. Like, they've been playing really well. They've shut down some quality teams. Deshaun Jackson's a different animal, and he's rolling right now. They're on a 9-game winning streak. I think if anybody's going to end that streak, it's Indy. It's a division game. Indy on the road, playing spoiler, trying to make the playoffs. I think Indy gets the win.
There we finally go. Patriots, Dolphins. Now, if everyone listens back, the last 2 times the Dolphins play the Patriots. Sorry, the last 3 times. I said Dolphins.
And the last time?
No, it was 2-1. Oh. Dolphins. That was 2-1.
They lost this year.
They did lose this year. So I gotta play it safe here. I gotta play it smart, not just because of my I love the success Miami has against New England. Where if you look back last year when Miami played New England this time at home, Miami beat them. Miami, different kind of picture for them this year, though. I think it's not the same football team that's on the field. So I'm going to be the logical sense and go with the New England Patriots in this football game.
Yeah, it's Patriots here. This eliminates Miami from playoff contention pretty much with the Patriot win here. I think New England's had their fair share of upset losses so far. Pretty much all three were surprising, you could say. And I think they've had their fill. I don't think it's going to happen.
Another sweep. I know that there's going to be changes down here, though, as we get further down the list. Maybe I'm choosing the Bucs over the Saints. Just kidding. Spoiler. Giants, Redskins. Redskins at home. Giants on fire. Fumble butt is playing. That's Mark Sanchez. Giants. That's all.
Yeah, I think New York gets the win here on the road. They're 3.5-point favorites right now, but it's Mark Sanchez under center. I mean,
no offense.
I just don't think he's going to shine. I think New York can load up, stop Adrian Peterson, make Washington one-dimensional. I think they can get Saquon going. If they can release Odell once or twice, they're laughing. I think the Giants run away with this one a little bit.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Moving forward. The next game we're going to talk about here, Jamie, is the Saints and Bucks. This is quick for me. Saints, obvious reasons. Coming back a little bit pissed off from last showing against Dallas.
A little bit pissed off. I think Sean Payton's going to go for every single fourth down. They're not going to punt. I think Drew's going to run up the score. If it's 4th and 45, I think Sean's still going to go. He's going to be so mad after that Dallas loss. Because that had big implications for him. He was a coach in Dallas. I think he's kind of alluded to in the past, like he loves New Orleans. I think, but there's just like it's special being a coach in Dallas. I think he's talked about that, and that was a big loss for New Orleans. Like that, they need the Rams to lose a game for them to get the number 1 seed now. Yeah. I think they're going to be pissed. I think they're going to just be super focused. It's in Tampa. Hopefully the weather's decent. Doesn't really matter, I think, at this point. I think New Orleans is built to do whatever the weather predicts. I think they will struggle in really, really cold weather. But that's why they got to get the 1 seed and play at home. New Orleans is going to be pissed off. Big W. I think they smash the Bucs. Like 30-point win. Biased.
I'll say 28 points separation just to be different. Falcons, Packers. I think this is where we're separating. I kind of have a feeling because I'm going to go with the Falcons. The reason why I'm going to go with the Falcons is I just got to, you know what, to be honest, I'm going to be strange here. Stats, everyone knows, I've said this countless times on the show, I follow stats, and obviously stats are against me. And I mean completely against me. But I'm going to go with my gut on this one. I'm sorry. People say don't bet with your gut. I believe that's what they're saying. I think that's the right saying. I don't know the exact saying. And producer goes, don't correct me. I don't want to really know right now. Did I get it right? Okay, but the Falcons, I have a feeling that this is the game where they have a tight win, 28-25. I'm looking at the score. It's one of those view moments where I'm seeing a close game. Matt Ryan's going to do his – I think he's had a fantastic year in Atlanta still despite their record. Okay, I think Atlanta needs to get a win sometime this week within the last couple of weeks, and I think this is the time to do it against Green Bay. And sorry, I know we have a lot of Green Bay listeners and fans that are going to shake their heads at it, sorry, and maybe their hands too at the same time, I don't know. But I got to say right now that the Falcons, I just got a feeling because Matt Ryan is pissed because of last week. I think he's sick of losing games a lot. He doesn't really lose a lot of games consistently. He has a record of win-lose, the kind of record this year, so I'm going to go Atlanta, Jamie. I know you're going another direction. I don't have a full reason like you probably will. Just my gut, my friend.
Yeah, I think Green Bay's at home. It's Lambeau in December. They already lost last week to Arizona, who dome team coming into Lambeau Field. You would not expect to lose that game. I think that was kind of a byproduct of Mike McCarthy getting fired and all that stuff. And there's a lot going on. There's different things. I think Green Bay is going to bounce back despite the fact that their head coach has been canned. I just don't see Aaron Rodgers taking this sitting down. If he does, then you can kind of – Green Bay's like packed it in for the year. Realistically, neither of these teams are making the playoffs. Realistically, there would be a crazy scenario for either of them to make it because both are already like 7 and 8 loss teams. So there's almost no way. Whoever loses it really isn't making the playoffs. I think it's Green Bay at home. I don't necessarily think it's a blowout. I think it might be a gritty win. I think Aaron Rodgers comes out to play. Hopefully Devontae Adams shows up and I can make the playoffs in my fantasy league.
Finally, another difference. I like that. Get an interesting for us here. Dave McCaig alongside Jamie Antonello at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. Continuing our In the Pocket segment. We got approximately 10 minutes, 15 minutes left tops on the show here. Going a little bit above over time here as what we'd like to do. Get into full dissection of the big pivotal week in the National Football League. Jets and Bills. Can I be honest with you? I went with the Buffalo Bills. I just feel it just makes sense. It just felt right. I don't know. I really can't. It's a snooze fest, this game for me. So I just went with what my fingers wanted to type on the computer, to be honest with you. And again, they're close to Toronto, Buffalo. I don't know. I went with just that kind of sense that the Bills are going to win. LaShawn McCoy, 2 touchdowns. Fearless prediction.
That would be nice for Buffalo and nice for fantasy owners. Dave's a little biased there. Yeah, I'm going to go with Buffalo as well. I mean, this could be a snoozer of a game a little bit. I don't think it's the exciting part is it's a matchup between Darnold and Allen, 2 of the quarterbacks, that highly touted quarterback draft class from this past April. They get to play against each other, which is kind of exciting. In Buffalo, so the weather's going to be kind of cold. I wouldn't be surprised if New York won. I'm still picking Buffalo at home. I think just a home favorite here. Again, neither team's a playoff team. This is kind of a nothing game when it comes down to the ultimate big picture of the playoffs. But Buffalo at home. Josh Allen, I think, is going to rush for a touchdown. I think that's going to be the difference.
Josh Allen sounds better than Peterman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a lot better.
He's terrible.
Very. Next game, Bengals-Chargers. Bias slash logical here. The Bengals are a little depleted.
Say that.
Let's say that's a nice way to put it in terms of injuries. Chargers are hot. They're real hot. They quietly went under the radar to be a 9-2 football team. 9-3. Sorry, thank you. Getting corrected from all angles. 9-3 football team. They showed a good performance battling back last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Chargers. Jamie.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, I'm going with the Chargers as well. I mean, no real shock there. I think Cincinnati's a bit of a disaster. This is the biggest betting line of the week. Chargers are 14-point favorites, which is crazy. I think they could cover at home since he's got nobody left. They're completely injured. I think I could probably walk on and play left tackle if I wanted. Yeah, Chargers all the way. I don't think it's close. Even without Melvin Gordon, potentially. He could potentially play, but I really don't think he needs to. I think save him until they got to play Kansas City for a division win.
Makes sense. The Chargers are a very good football team, and for people that disagree, I would really like to know your reasoning. I like what they have on the football field. Now, Broncos, 49ers. Again, Broncos. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, in San Fran, I think Denver's a solid team. They've proven that. I think they're one of those teams that's in a position to fight potentially for a playoff spot at 6-6. This is kind of a make it or break it game for them. San Francisco is in the point of playing spoiler here big time at 2-10 though. I mean, and the way it's been going, despite the fact that they're at home, I think Denver gets it done. I think Von Miller's just too much. I think Nick Mullins, I mean, I like what the kid's been doing. He's been playing pretty solid when he's gotten in there. I just think he's going to make a mistake. I think Case Keenum isn't. I don't think it's a blowout. I think Denver gets the win, though.
Eagles-Cowboys.
Here we go.
I'm excited about this football game. I actually sat here and didn't look at statistics. I didn't think of my gut. I literally thought about Carson Wentz's press conference going into my decision here, and how calm and nonchalant he looked up there. And I compare his persona to how the Cowboys reacted to that big win against New Orleans. The body language going into next week. Van Der Esch is a fucking beast. Fuck it, I'll say it. There the fuck it is. There's 3 swears in one whole sentence. I'm going Cowboys because they have a lot to prove here to continue. They're riding high after a big win against New Orleans. I am feeling the home win for Dallas. That's it. Jamie.
Whew. This is a close one. I mean, this is in that 4 o'clock time span. I think this is probably one of the games to watch, if not the game to watch. Man, I'm conflicted here a little bit. I mean, it's a close game. The line isn't very big. It's a division game. This is really the game that's going to could potentially decide who wins the division. Is Dallas for real? I think just based on the fact that they beat New Orleans, and there was a Thursday game, they got that extra prep time. I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think it's close, but I think they distance themselves. I think they really set themselves up at 8-5 moving forward as NFC East champions.
Damn. Steelers Raiders. Oh, God. Steelers are pissed they lost last week and lost that. Steelers are winning this football game just by pure offense alone.
Yeah, I don't think Oakland's going to have an explosion like last week. I mean, they played within a touchdown of Kansas City, but Kansas City's defense is not nearly as strong as Pittsburgh, despite the fact that Pittsburgh has struggled at times. But really the games when Pittsburgh's given up a lot of points has been against the Chargers, who have a very high-powered offense. Chiefs, like all these teams that are explosive. I don't think Oakland's quite there. I think Derek Carr's solid. I think he's still having an okay year. They can't really run the ball. They don't have a massive threat to run. But I think Pittsburgh wins. It's on the road in Oakland. Doesn't matter. They're going to get the dub.
Steelers need a battle back after that loss last week. Couple losses in a row. It's not good. Lions, Cardinals. Lions fans, we got some positivities for you guys here. I'm going to give you guys the win on this week. You guys, just because you guys are the better football team, Arizona, it's been a rough year for Arizona. And the Lions, they want to end the year on a bang and maybe right on the high note. Patricia as a coach, I'm a big fan of him. Big fan of Patricia there, and he doesn't like losing football games. Lions.
I'm going to go Arizona here. I think at home, Detroit's got quite the travel to get there. I just think they beat Green Bay last week. They've had some quality wins against half-decent opponents despite their 3-9 record. I mean, I think they're just fighting for pride right now. I think they want to prove offensively. I think these are big reps for Josh Rosen as a quarterback. I think you don't think he's not taking these seriously. And David Johnson had a really brutal start to the year, and I think he's finally in form. I think he wants to maintain that. They're not shutting anybody down. Last couple weeks of the season, they may just kind of, because they know they're not making the playoffs. There's no point in getting anybody hurt, long-term injury-ending things, and pride really isn't that big at that point. But I think they get the win. I think Detroit's they're like Tennessee for me, man. They've just been up and down. I have no idea. I like Matt Patricia. I think he's got some good things. He's got to get some of his guys in the building. He's got to get that culture back. But I don't think I think it's a very close game. I think this is decided by a field goal. I think Arizona at home gets the win.
Wow, okay. That's not what I expected, to be honest with you. Rams, Bears. I think we're going to be I think we're going to agree on this, to be totally honest with you, but I think the Rams. I'm a big fan of obviously Mac with the Bears is a big add against when you go against a team like the Rams with their offense, but the Rams are just one of the superior football teams in the National Football League. So you don't pick the Rams to win on a weekly basis just because you feel like it. You pick it because the facts are there, how good of a football team that they are. And going into Chicago, it's going to be a tough match. It's going to be a very close football game, but I like the Rams.
Ready?
Here we go.
Chicago.
Okay.
Here's why. Trubisky's back. I think he's going to come back with a vengeance. I think he's ready to go. I realistically think he could have played last week. I think they were kind of just saving him.
Is there playoff implications for the Bears here?
They're in first place in their division. I think they got a decent hold, but Minnesota's on their heels.
Yeah.
This is one of those like spoiler games for the Rams down the stretch. I think it's in Chicago, cold weather. You never know how the hot weather teams are going to handle it. I think just Khalil Mack, I think that defense is going to eat. If they can shut down Todd Gurley, Jared Goff's amazing. I think he's awesome. I think he can pick you apart. But if you make them one-dimensional, I think Chicago's defense is that good. And offensively, I think they can control the clock. Their offense is starting to roll, despite the fact that Trubisky wasn't in. You could just see like Chase Daniel just didn't have – it's almost that recklessness that Trubisky has, and he's a little bit more mobile. He can extend plays a little bit more than Chase Daniel. I think that's going to be the difference. If they can keep themselves on the field a long time, keep that defense rested, Khalil Mack is just going to be chomping at the bit to get after Jared Goff. Nobody can block him. He's the difference on defense. Trubisky's the difference on offense. Close game. Chicago squeaks it out. Soldier Field. Sunday nighter. Watch the game. The Rams are going down. It's going to be a wild one.
This might be the week that changes for us. This might be the week that'll separate Jamie and I. Vikings, Seahawks. I actually think we're going to be different on this opinion. Again, I'm going to go Minnesota because, Minnesota, another playoff implication team. I know I've chosen against that implication a little bit, maybe just because of gut, but I just got to say Minnesota's going to bow back. They had a tough week last week. They want to battle back from last week. They need to get a win to try to climb up in the standings and catch the Bears, and they know they're playing the Rams, which I think statistically the Rams are favorites in that game, slightly, from what I understand, right? The Rams, I know for the Rams-Bears game, the Rams are favorites. Rams are favorited, so the Vikings know who the Rams are playing against the Bears, and these are the type of games where if you lose, you start losing grip hold on the standings if the Bears do in fact beat the Rams. So, you got to bring the Vikings have that extra hunger to their game, and Seattle's not the same place where it used to be a couple years ago. I know it's not the same place, and I think they're a little bit of a team that's dealt with a lot of drama this year. When you think of Thomas, there's a lot of things that went on with that team that's not the same. So, just all around, Vikings have a lot more to play for. It seems like right now, besides just pride. Vikings.
I'm going opposite. I'm going Seattle at home. Monday night game. I think that Russ is having an underrated season. He's got like 30 touchdown passes and only 5 picks. He's having a great year. Minnesota's a quality team, don't get me wrong, and they're still in that hunt with Chicago to win that division. But I think Seattle is that good, and at home I think they're starting to re-understand who they are as a team. It took them a while, like 12 weeks, but I think they've started to figure it out. Bobby Wagner is playing as good as he's ever played. I think he's realized there's not a lot around him. He has to play outstanding. He's having potential Defensive Player of the Year season. Statistically, he's crushing it. I think this is the game where Russell finally unleashes his legs a little bit. Every Seattle game that I watch this year, he could have pulled the ball and run on any of those zone reads at least 4 or 5 times a game for first downs or touchdowns or big plays. I think he finally does it. Monday night at home, big game. They're 7-5. Minnesota's 6-5-1, fighting for a playoff spot. I'm going Seahawks. I think it's close.
I really think this is the week that Jamie and I just get split up. Either one of us is genius, and one of us is left out to dry, potentially.
Or we're going to go 3-3 on our spot.
Oh, we're going to go 3. Yeah, exactly. It's been like that all season. But definitely been a season full of surprise, Jamie, and I can't wait until we decide what this week's going to look like. A lot of playoff pitches are going to start to shape out after this week and this surprising NFL year, as I've said countless times. Game of the week, in my opinion, as I like to state my game of the weeks here as we always go through, my game of the week is Eagles-Cowboys. That is my game to definitely watch. Snooze fest of the week is the Jets and Bills. Surprising game of the week to watch. A lot of people may find this to be a surprise, in my opinion. I'm going to let Jamie disagree or agree here. We only got a couple minutes left, Jamie, with who I think the surprise game of the week is in terms of excitement. Colts and Texans.
Yeah.
I don't know if you do disagree. You agree with that? No, that's good. I think that's going to be your surprise game of the week, and your blowout game of the week, Saints Bucks. That is my blowout game for the week. I was almost going to say, Titans Jags almost, but there could be even that. There's a lot of different games, but I think the Saints are going to come out with an absolute vengeance. It's going to be scary to watch the Saints this week. Yeah, it's going to be insane, in my total opinion. So, Jamie, that's going to wrap it up for our In the Pocket segment. We're going to transition right into the Toronto Raptors. I'm going to spearhead this just quickly before we wrap up the show. Then we will wrap up tonight's show. Only got a couple minutes left, so we can't devote a full segment to a round table or for the Toronto Raptors. I've been instructed to ensure I bring up the Toronto Raptors, obviously, as we always do here on the Wednesday show. They finished tonight's game against the Philadelphia 76ers, 113-102. The Raptors with an impressive showing in this basketball game. We're going to now improving to 21-5. Kawhi Leonard, 36 points, 9 rebounds and assists. You have Pascal Siakam with 6 points, 8 rebounds and 6 assists. In terms of points, he wasn't really effective, but on the court, he was great out there. Valanciunas, 26 points, second on the team in points tonight. Now, I love the depth of this team. I've said it countless times throughout the year, but Kawhi Leonard really spearheaded the basketball game for the Toronto Raptors, notably with the Jimmy Butler
Philadelphia 76ers had 38 points to Jimmy Butler and 10 rebounds. Definitely finding his place there in Philadelphia. And J.J. Redick, if you're a fan of Duke like I am, J.J. Redick with 25 points with the Philadelphia 76ers in that exciting exciting basketball game, rather. And I had to make sure I give a little shout out to the Duke fans, obviously, there for J.J. Redick, probably arguably the most fan favorite basketball player in terms of Duke. Now next to, of course, RJ Barrett, whom is Canadian with Duke, as I think he is probably going to be surpassing him, especially in my books. But the Toronto Raptors, getting back to the NBA, you know, they had to get this one after losing to Denver in a very good basketball game that was indeed. Toronto had a very successful last week. You know, they defeated Golden State, losing against Denver. So be it. They end up beating Philadelphia. 21-5 are the Toronto Raptors. And, you know, everyone this year predicted the Toronto Raptors to be where they are in the standings, but everyone also thought maybe the Celtics would be right there with them. But let's say that the Boston Celtics are 6th right now, 13-10. The Bucks, I've always been a fan of the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, love saying the last name too. Definitely a good basketball team to watch. Sixers and Pistons. Kudos to the Pistons being 13-9. You can listen to a full edition of Detroit Sports with Butch on Sports with Butch Davis talking about Detroit Pistons, Wings, and Lions there. So I won't dive in too much with the Detroit Pistons. But all in all, the Eastern Conference, the only surprise I think in my opinion has been the Boston Celtics. All in all, I'm not surprised where the Cavaliers are, or the Hawks, to be honest, but I am surprised where the Chicago Bulls are in the standings, a little bit being 5-20. When we look at the Western Conference, Denver is leading the way, even over Golden State. They're leading the way over the Thunder and Clippers. I'm a big fan of what the Thunder team is, hard working team on the court. Same with the Clippers. And LeBron's Lakers are 14-9 for 6th in the West. They will be in the playoffs, in my opinion. Will claw their way up to a 4th and 5th spot with a date against the Clippers, Grizzlies, or potentially the Golden State Warriors if they stay where they're at. But let's get real. Golden State will climb into first by the end of the season, in my opinion. I'd be a fool not to think that. But who's first in the NBA? The Toronto Raptors. Toronto fans, enjoy this. Leafs are just sexy to watch. The Raptors are just sexy to watch. The Jays, they aren't so sexy to watch right now. But you know what? They're still okay to watch. The Argonauts weren't too sexy to watch this year either. But you know what? I think if we had a football team right now, if the Bills were actually in Toronto instead of Buffalo, they might even be a little bit more sexier to watch. So at the end of the day, Toronto sports is doing very successful, and Toronto Raptors, you know, having Kawhi Leonard in the fold after a big successful night here against the Philadelphia 76ers. Hopefully Toronto can retain Kawhi Leonard and pay him the money that he is most certainly due to be paid. The Toronto Raptors play the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are in town, or sorry, the Raptors actually visit Brooklyn, at 7:30, and they're back home against the Bucks on Sunday. And the Nets are 8-18. A lot of murmurs going around, and I'm one of the people to start leaking it around. In my opinion, I think Kawhi Leonard might be taking a rest that game as the 8-18 Nets play against the Toronto Raptors. Jamie, I didn't jump you on into there. I know you had to step away from the table for a second, so I just spearheaded the full basketball session there. I know we didn't have much time, so just a quick recap with the NBA. Raptors, first place. You got to love that, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, even as a casual basketball fan as I am, it's awesome to see. I think they're meshing. I think that team's really going. Off-season, we really didn't know what Nick Nurse was going to do. I think he has, he's kind of got a little bit of a video game in front of him a little bit. It's kind of hard to be bad with the group that's in front of him, but he's got that defensive mindset. I think that's really turned the corner for this team, along with obviously signing one of the best defensive players in the NBA. That absolutely helps, but no, excited to see where they're going to go. I think hopefully they can maintain. Getting home court advantage is huge, especially in Toronto. The atmosphere there is wild. Jurassic Park outside, it's so much fun. Inside the arena, it's just bonkers, but the rest of the NBA is a bit of a disaster in places, and I think people are loving how Golden State is losing a lot of games. It's like anytime the champ goes down and they have a massive following, anytime the Patriots lose, you see lots of people going ha ha ha. Same thing, Red Sox lose, Penguins lose a game, even teams are always looking for that. So they're, like you said though, they're gonna bring it back around. I think Golden State's gonna finish at top of the West, no problem. One of those top 3 spots for sure. Losing this many games early, you kind of have to see. I mean, we're barely at the quarter point of the season, so we'll know a lot more when we get to All-Star break.
Great stuff, Jamie, as always. We cover the basketball scene. I know we had more sports to jump into, and people were also asking where Nathan Inch was tonight. And as I said at the beginning, he actually was not able to show up. He had a retirement party for work, and he ultimately could not get here on time. I'm sorry, listener, again, that's the second time where Nathan has actually had to end up bailing. We do promise to ensure that he makes it by here next week for the Game Sports Show live at Sportscenter Bar and Grill. But that's going to do it for our topics. We've talked football and basketball because that's all the time that we had today. We made sure we talked a lot of local football, wrapping up the Korah Colts' successful season, talking NFL week 13 and going into 14, and with the Raptors. We'll save more roundtable discussion for when we have more of the panel members next week, and also hopefully when Nathan comes on by as well next week. Jamie, I want to say thank you to coming on by tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Absolutely, buddy. Have to see if either of us have distanced themselves in the Pick'em Trophy standings, but knowing us, we'll probably just one of us will win by a win, or we'll be tied again, and then we'll be talking the exact same thing when we pick 5 different games out of 16 next week. So who knows? As always, been a blast, having a great time. Excited for next week.
It's going to be exciting. Don't forget, listeners, we have a show tomorrow at Northern Superior Brewing Company. That is Thursday, December the 6th. That will be at 8:15 p.m. Myself, Justin Heichel, and Dane Hancher will be live on location. We'll be there from 8:15 till 9:30 max, as that is the only time that we have available there to have the show. We have special guest Mike Hall coming by tomorrow, who's the head coach of Sioux College Cougars hockey team, and he's also been a very successful coach with the North Stars hockey here in Sault Ste. Marie as well. We also have a special edition upload that will be either connected with the show or uploaded individually with Craig Hartsburg. A lot of people don't understand or know that Craig is a part of the crew here with the Game Sports Show now. He'll be doing a lot of uploads, special edition uploads, and work, especially on the Facebook page in terms of uploads, doing his local hockey coverage input and also his NHL power rankings per week or bi-weekly as well. And going into Sunday, we will have a show at Icebreakers again as well, covering all things local. The Game Sports Show will be at the John Rhodes on Saturday for when the Thunderbirds play against the Sioux Eagles, and may make an appearance when the Eagles and Thunderbirds play on Friday at the Polar Stadium. And also the Hounds, the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. We'll be talking about the Greyhounds on tomorrow's show, getting in more depth with that as well, with myself, Dane, and Justin, and Brad will also get his input with his recap for the Hounds on Sunday. Now, the Game Sports Show will be at the Wicked Sister on Monday, usual time, 6 to 8. Sports Center here next week at 9, and also back to Northern next week at 6 o'clock. Then obviously at Icebreakers on Sunday, sticking with the usual schedule. Keep your eye on the Facebook page. We will have an upload. We did not have an upload last week in terms of a trivia question, as we had to do some other figuring out in terms of what to upload. So we'll have something for sure uploaded going into the weekend for a chance to win a prize, courtesy of one of our fantastic sponsors. I want to say thanks to you, the listeners, for making us a part of your night tonight. I want to say thank you to the beautiful Alicia White and staff here at SportsCenter Bar and Grill.
Easy.
I try to be, but I'm not that easy. That sounded very creepy, actually. And also I want to say thanks to Scott Nason. And I want to say thank you, as always, again, to listeners. I can't say it countless amount of times. It is definitely great to what you do for listening to the show time in, time out. And obviously thank you to Tom Annett for spending the time to come on by here tonight at SportsCenter Bar and Grill. Now, get into the conclusion portion. Almost an introduction. We're done the show. Get into the conclusion portion. We could start over. It's fun. We can do this all the time. Next week now, I love that. And then now, square. Okay, I'll stop. Keep your stick on the ice. Swing your bat. Catch your touchdown. Drain your threes. And shoot your shots. Booyah.